everybody, this is Pam at the Paper Outpost. Are you ever wondering about what are the benefits of sewing in a junk journal? Should you explore that? There seems to be the sewing camp and the non-sewing camp, and I'm trying to encourage you guys to commingle. And so I thought I'd make a list of 5 reasons why you might want to consider sewing in your junk journals. And first of all, sewing is not mandatory. You can make absolutely beautiful and gorgeous junk journals without ever sewing, but the sewing machine is merely a tool. That's all it is. And I want you to know this comes from a pure rookie of sewing. I have, basically zero skill sewing. I waddled in not knowing what I was doing, and I found there was a lot of great joy in it, and I find I reach for my sewing machine quite a bit now, where before I was scared to death of it. And this is not a how to sew video. This is just why you might want to why you might want to add it to your repertoire of tools. So let's get started. I have a bunch of these. I don't know what I call them. I was actually making paper out of scraps. I was just gluing it together, eternally trying to use my scraps up. And I just want to make some journal cards. And so I thought I would make some. But number one, as I'm doing this, I want to tell you a little about, I'm going to tell you the 5 things, and then I'm also going to tell you my story of how I got a sewing machine and why I added sewing to my journals and why I think it's something you might want to consider. Okay, so we babbled through that, didn't we? Wait, you didn't have a bath yet. Oh, Mom, I'd really like to say hi, but I'm a mess. Yes, it is definitely bath day. All right, well, we're just going to have just an ear. Hello, everybody. It's Sunny. How are you doing? Have some fun? Take care. I'm back to sleep. Okay, yep. Definitely bath day. Okay. Okay, so, literally, so. All right. First of all, what I'm going to do is just take some of these are like little mini master boards, just pages I've collaged with scraps. Let me zoom this in so you can see a little bit better. And I've had these sitting here forever. And I keep saying I'm going to do something with them. And this is a thin one. This is a thick one because I Mod Podged it. This is a thin one. It still has little raised edges and things. I need to do something with that. Here's a really skinny one, the little skinny strips put together. That was a lot of fun. And here's another one. I really like those. I need to do more of those. Those are a lot of fun. And here's some, just strips glued together and then just a random word put on there. Okay, so let's start with this one. That's an easy one. But the first foray I did into sewing in junk journals was because I fell in love with the pretty stitching. The little little shapes and things like that. Well, actually, let me show you on this one because it's a real pretty. So I took a piece of paper, and it looks like graph paper, and I thought that was kind of a cool background to whatever I might turn this into. And then I just glued some random stuff and on here and just ran some Stabilo pencil around it. But what I'm going to do is turn this into 4 journal cards because I just think that would be a lot of fun. Let me back up a little so you can see better. Let me get the best viewage for you. All right, there we go. Okay. So, and journal cards can be any size. There are no rules. Love that, right? Yep. And big ones, small ones. Maybe you want to maximize what you have. Maybe take into account the size of the journal that you have or not. And you might like things to stick out. So I'm going to be sewing these. But first I need to cut them down. So the first thing, number 1, which got me into it was people were taking paper, just regular paper. All right, and we're going to do that too. I like the big ones. Oh, those are pretty. Maybe I don't even want to cut them down. Maybe I won't. Let's see how tall these are. I'm measuring over here. I know. 8. Yeah, I can work with that. All right, so I'm going to leave that as that. And then to get the edges, it's going to be a little creaking going here. It's a little stiff to fold. Maybe I can do them individually. Yeah, that's not so bad. Just do a quick little here. There we go. Oh my God, I made a journal card. Look at that. That's how quick and easy it is. Now you can measure, or you can take this little piece after you cut it off and go and put it over there. There's a lot of different ways to get these corners the same. And if they're not perfectly the same, that's okay too. Boop, there we go. All right, so there we have them. And, but hang on. Let me show you what first entranced me. I'm just going to take a piece of white copy paper. The lowly white copy paper, you know, so, you know, nobody sings its glory, but I love it. And oh, let me put it light over here so you can see, sort of. Okay, better? Okay. So I just fell in love with this look. So put the foot down, make sure the strings are out the back. And I am now just picking one of those pretty stitches on there because I just thought that looked so cool. All right, so let's pick leaf. Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, you know, it would be helpful if I turn the thing on. Okay, so here's leaf. All right, now I want to make it a little longer, maybe a little wider. Okay, so I went to, okay, let's just go. Oh, no, I think I thought by just touching the stitch mark, it would turn it on, but no, you have to punch the numbers in, Pam. Okay, here's the numbers. I had it on 0, and that's why it's not working. So I'm going to go to 68. Okay, here we go. I know I said this wasn't going to be how to sew, but I just want you to see how I do this, because this is the level of my skill. Low. Okay, so here we go. Now going slow, because it's going to take the paper forward and backward, and you just sort of want to make sure it stays straight, because here's the no skill part. I just put the paper in there, and the machine is sewing, unbeknownst to me doing anything. Sometimes it takes a little while to get the pretty pattern to come out. Maybe go faster, Pam. Try that. Okay, I'm giving it the goose. I've got the pedal to the metal. We're rocking it, and we're just going to see what this looks like. Because it was stuff like this that really, I don't know, I got all excited about. So I thought, boy, I could do that. I could just sew straight through something and have it come out like magical wonderland on the other side, unbeknownst to me. Okay. I'm stuck in there for some reason. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. Now let's see what we got. Oops. Okay. There. All right. Now put it down and up so you can see better. So I thought that was so pretty. I mean, when I saw that, I thought, wow, that's really pretty, and it's pretty on both sides. And if I take this paper and I fold it in half and I use it in my junk journal, it's so pretty. Even though it's just a white paper, it has this beautiful something. And I could knock out, I don't know, I could like, you know, in a few minutes, just knock out 10, 15 of these. And what a beautiful way to add a signature page. So that was what really got me going in the beginning. And then, you know, you don't have to, if you don't have a machine that does complicated stitches, just doing something like this can add wonder and merriment to your day. Okay, so I'm bringing it down to a regular straight stitch, which on my machine is a 1, which I told you I'm not going to teach you how to do this. So that's, everybody's got a different machine. So it really doesn't make sense to show you on this. But what I'm going to do is just take a regular straight stitch, and we're going to have some fun with it. Okay, I'm going to put you down here so you can see a little bit. Okay, come on. All right, here we go. Regular straight stitch. All right, here we go. I'm not locking the stitch, but I'm just kind of wiggling the paper a little bit. You know, maybe a little over here, a little over there, come what may, and that kind of stuff. Now, last one, I'm going to swing it around. Now, I've got a wiggly wobbly, right, which normally in sewing would be disaster pants, but no, here, it's our friend. So if you can't sew a straight line, this is for you. Now, you come back in here and you do what I call the snake get over there. Snake crisscross. You do that, and it's going to look kind of cool. Here we go. Kind of just do this little deal. Yeah, that's pretty much all it takes. And then, just with a regular straight stitch, You got something cool like that. Look, it's like all fancy pants. Can't see. Yeah, look at that. So you have this option. Straight stitch, no fancy machine, but you can get really cool designs, or fancy pants. So it just depends what machine you got. And if you've got a machine sitting in your basement or your garage or your attic or in the closet, and you're like, oh, I don't want to use it because I might break it. Well, you might, but you're guaranteed never to break it if you never pull it out, and you're also guaranteed never to experience something like this if you never pull it out. So I'm encouraging those of you who have one and are not using it, just consider, because it can add so many fun things. So, okay, so that's actually how I started. I was just amazed by the pretty stitching down the sides of the journal pages. I'm like, that just, to me, it was just like, and it gives it a texture. I don't know. It's just a fun thing to do, fun thing to play with. You know, threads are fiber, so that qualifies as something related to paper making. Okay, here's the next one. Okay, so here I've got, I know I'd like to be a little bit closer, but farther. Is that weird? I know. I just think that it's better this way. Okay, so here I have a journal card, and let's test our edges. Okay, so there might be some places, you see, where this happens a lot when we do collage, where the edges might want to come up a little bit. Well, you can sit there and painstakingly glue all the way around, which is totally fine and totally fun. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Or you can come in and just sew the edges, and you can sew it with a zigzag stitch, a straight stitch, a fancy stitch, anything you want. You don't have to be a sewing master. All you got to do is watch a couple of YouTube videos and see what your machine is. And, you know, I leave it up to you to make the decision whether you want to use the fancy quilting machine that your grandmother left you and sew paper, or not, or you just want to go down to the Goodwill and get a $20 machine and use that. Your decision. You're an adult. Or you're not, but then you know what I mean. Okay, so I am going to initially do, we haven't done this yet, a zigzag stitch. And I'm gonna have it hang over the edge. So I'm gonna put my little middle dot on my foot right on the edge. So half the stitch goes off the edge, half the stitch goes on, and that permanently seals around. So I don't have to deal with any, I want to make them a little longer. So I'm increasing my stitch length like this. So it's, it just sews faster, basically. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we get. And even if you don't do it perfectly, it's still going to look really cool, which is what I love about this, because, you know, I tried to make an apron in home ec back in grade 8. And let's just say that apron was not pretty. It was not the right shape. I was very embarrassed of my apron. And my home ec teacher kind of put her head in her hands and cried, sobbed in the corner, saying, Pam, this is not for you. Go do something else with your life. So yeah, I was mortified for a long time about going near a sewing machine because everything seemed so complicated. And but then when I saw people using it with junk journals, I thought, they're basically just sewing straight lines here and there, or a zigzag. Nothing looked too hard. I thought, wait a minute. Am I ruling out something that could actually bring a lot of fun in my life? Or a new tool that could be explored? It's always good to learn new skills. And that is number 2, a reason why to consider sewing in your junk journals. If you're not a sewer, it's a very good idea to learn new skills, work your brain, try new things. It's good for your brain health. So there we go. So now all of a sudden we have this, and that is not like immediately pretty. Like it prettied up the pretty factor. I don't know. It's a style choice. Okay. But I really like it. And it's quick and easy, and it looks like somebody spent a little extra time fussing on it. And it's just like, oh, somebody sewed on this. How nice was that? And then you can go ahead and decorate these up more if you want to. But what a great way to use up scraps and sew these little things. So that's just an easy thing that you can do. Okay, where are we? Okay, so let's make a few more of these. And yes, I am using the wrong bobbin. I'm using a metal bobbin in my brother machine, and I'm sure my machine hates me for it. But I want you to know that my machine and I have spoken, and it understands that it is going to be intensely a rough journey with me, but it has signed on, it's ready for the task, and it is sticking by me. Okay, I'm just going to sew another one, and I'm going to do a straight stitch this time so you can see the difference. Okay, down. Oh, I got to change the numbers, Pam. Don't forget. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted, Mom. Okay, thanks, Sunny. So the next thing is, it secures without using glue. Yes, that's number 3. Okay, so here we go, straight stitch. And I'm just gonna go relatively quickly, sort of close to the edge. And if I do a good straightness, I don't have to do anything else, or I can just make it look purposefully wiggly, because mine always look wiggly. And this is just fun. I mean, if you just want to zen out for a while, I don't know, there's something about it. And what I did in the beginning was I went and got a very cheap machine, and I just watched a couple YouTube videos on how to get it going. And I just really had to figure out how to, loading the bobbin, for some reason, like getting the string on it, that was like stopping me for a long time. So finally I decided to just go get some of those preloaded bobbins. And nobody told me at the time, well, I wasn't asking anybody, nobody told me at the time, you're not supposed to use certain bobbins in certain machines. And so I just stuck anything in, and off I went, and we were doing fine for several years. Okay, so this is what we have. Not bad, right? I mean, even a straight stitch, very simple. I would say it probably takes half the time almost than a zigzag stitch to do. Very cute, very upgrade, extra thingy to it, and I think it looks just adorbs. What else? Okay, so that was number 3, and then let's just do some more of these. Okay, so let's take this guy. Now this guy is just paper strips that were glued together. There's no backing. It's just as the thickness of a copy paper page. So maybe I want to make this a little thicker. Let me just reorient you for a second. Excuse me. And I'm just going to take a book page, because I think that would be a pretty backing for this. I mean, it doesn't always have to be a journal card with space for writing on the back. Sometimes you can just put a really cool book page on the back, because, you know, that's what you do. So here I have this really cool book page. I'm just going to take this, and what am I going to use? Okay, maybe I'm going to use glue stick, and this is the side I want to show. So I'm going to put some glue stick on the back, but not, maybe I should cut my shape first. No, I've got to cut it after. Okay, I'm just going to glue this down. Going around the corners. Yes, I know this is probably going to muck up my needle, but I can go in and clean it with the needle with acetone or alcohol or baby wipes after, if I'm a really good bunny and I remember. And if not, I'll just have maybe a gluey needle later, but honestly, I forget a lot of the time, and I don't really have a huge problem. So don't over worry it, but know your machine and what it can handle. I don't know how you know that. But those of you in the know, I mean, or get a cheap machine and don't worry about it too much. You know what I mean? Because we're only asking it to sew stitches. That's it. That just like go straight and sew a straight stitch. So there's not much to it. All right, let's maybe make, I want that angel word to be on one, but it could be sideways. Yeah, that's all right. We could do that. But then the wording will be sideways. Not that I really care, but maybe let's do it there. Okay, can you see? No. Okay, there we go. So just doing some basic cutting here with the craft mat and my paper. So putting the backing on here is going to give it enough thickness to be a journal card that's easily pulled in and out of my journal. I'm just going to tear this off. We'll see. Yeah, that's easier. Okay, and more fun. There's like joy in tearing. I don't know. For me, there is. And you can tear or cut. Doesn't matter. It's all good. I think the tearing gives a nice little... I don't know. You see that? That nice little edge? Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that. Okay, so let's finish the bottom one of that. And so let me go on to number 4 and just tell you. Okay, so there's no drying time. So you don't have to buy the glue. You don't have to work with the glue. You don't have to get it all over your fingers. And there's no drying time, which is very advantageous in the junk journal world, because sometimes it can be like crickets. You know, like, are you dry yet? Cricket, cricket, cricket. I'm waiting for you to dry. Are you dry? Cricket. You know, no, you're sitting there for hours waiting for it to dry sometimes with the glue. So it expedites things naturally. And you're done. When you're done sewing, you're done. You know what I mean? You're out of there and you're on to the new thing, hopping along, making your Christmas presents, and life is good. Okay, here we go. Got a little flapper there, but that little flapper is going to be handled with the sewing. Yeah. Okay, so we have 2. I could cut these down more, but I'm liking the long of it all. Yeah, and they kind of came out pretty on the back, I think. Like that, pretty on the back. And okay, so I have purple thread in my machine because that's what I have. And you don't even have to do these little, like, why does it have to be in the shape of a tag? It doesn't. Nobody knows why this whole tag thing got started, but they were just sort of a little, like a very simple step can give it a neat little change. Okay, so I'll do one with and one without the snip, just so you can see the difference. These are very basic, very simple crafts, and anybody can do them, and they're just a boatload of fun. Okay, we're snuggling in the machine here. Okay, focusing. All right. I have no idea what that is. Okay. It's all right. We don't need to know. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. So let's do this one. And let's do, I don't know. Okay, let's do wavy. Okay. So if you have a wavy, 1, 2, what is that? Number 25. Okay, put this wavy stitch on. And now you got to know how wide you want to be. So I'm going to go a little wider, like lengthwise in the stitch. And here we go. Okay, I'm going to start there. And because I don't really know until I start how wide the thing is or long. I just look at it and see if I like it. Now, I'm going to change it so you can see the difference. Okay, I'm going to make it not so wide. I'm going to bring it down to barely wide. And the thing is, when you bring your stitches closer together, when you're sewing through paper, you run the risk of perforating completely your paper. So sometimes wider is better, you know what I mean? Or longer length between stitches. So now I'm going to go super long so you can see what that looks like. This is like number 4. This is as long as it will let me go. Okay. So you're going to see some examples. And you can just change it up that quick on your machine. And I'll show you what this looks like here. When I pop it out. And we'll do a little shorter there. Oh yeah, here we go. And we're tacking down all those little loosey-gooseys. I don't have to glue them. How nice is that? And it's got that, I don't know, it's kind of like a Little House on the Prairie farm. You know, I try to excuse my poor sewing skills with like farm, not that farmers don't know what they're doing. They're way more skilled than I am, but it's almost like you don't have a lot of, I don't want to say supplies, but okay, I don't have a lot of sewing skills. So I picture Laura Ingalls trying to learn how to sew in the beginning when her mother was trying to teach her, and maybe some of her items came out looking not perfect. And of course, I'm sure she improved in her skills in time and everything's wonderful. But in the beginning, when it all started, I'm sure there were some unusual ones. Okay, so here we go. Yeah. Okay, this is what we have. So we see the big wide stitches, like long, I need to say long, the long stitches, medium thing, and the little shorty woos, all from one stitch. So you don't need 100 million different stitches. You just need like a small handful, and you can get a lot of variety out of your machine. So don't think you need the one with all the big bells and whistles. You don't. I mean, honestly, if it were me and it was the first time, I'd just get a regular sewing machine that didn't have any fancy stitches, and I would just want straight stitch and zigzag and go from there. Okay, so that's that guy, and that's done. And thanks for hanging out with me while I'm making these, because this is just so much fun. All right, so and number 5, I kind of lost track on the numbers of the tips, but I have a bunch listed here. It adds a new element. Yes. So did I say that already? I don't know. But if I didn't, it adds a new element that wasn't there before. So we have this, and then all of a sudden we have that. Or we have, you know, some sewing on it, which is just a new element. And if you like that sort of thing, then consider it. I just want you to have some fun. Okay, I'm going to go back to a very safe, straight stitch, nothing too high pressure. Go. And I'm going to make the stitch really long as it'll go. Okay. You got to hang on to your hat with this one because this baby's going to move. Yeah, it doesn't take long at all when you lengthen your stitches. And it's actually better for your paper because you have a less of a chance of piercing a hole and perforating your paper so it comes apart. If you do have a little bit of material on top, you can put your stitches closer together because it'll grab the material. But if you don't, then lengthen your stitches. Yeah, so that's the other thing. Also, just adding this in there, if you've never sewn in your junk journals, you don't know what you're missing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what you don't know. You know what you know what you don't know, but you don't know what you don't know. You know that one? And so you might actually enjoy it. And I really say this from the heart because I was an avid non-sewer most of my life. And it wasn't until paper sewing came along where I thought, maybe I need to embrace that skill a little bit more warmly, or at least see if I find joy in it or not. And it's not a mandatory thing, but it sure can add a lot of, I don't know, it's kind of cool, you know? And so let's say I got a flapper here and I don't really feel like gluing it. Well, I can just come along and I can just, where is it? Okay. I can just sew it down. Yeah, I can just come along here and watch. I hope it works. There we go. Just sew across. Yeah, just because, I mean, there I tacked it. It's kind of a random sewing thing. Who knows why it's there, but it's there. And it's just kind of cool. And so you can do this to tack your stuff down. Now here's an example. Do I have enough room to show you here? Let me point you down so you can see. Okay. So here we have some random sewing on a big page. This was a collaged page. Let's see if I can get you on the bigger, better zoomaroo. Okay, there we go. Okay, and so what's on the back? Well, this was strips of leftover scraps that I had, the edge of some kind of like ring-bound book, and I like the little lines. And then I just came along with some washi tape to help tack down certain areas that wanted to curl up a lot. And then I thought, oh, I need to tackle this even more. So I looked on this side and I just glued random bits of paper. There's random bits. And then I just thought, I'm going to go hog wild and just sew all over the place. So I did a goofy border, and as you can see, my classic skipped stitches. Probably because I'm using the wrong bobbin. I know. But remember Ellery Queen, right? And just went along and sewed, and then just tried some. I just had fun on the paper. It was a no rules, reckless abandon. Let's see what it comes. And this is actually thick enough now. Let me back up a little bit to use as a journal cover. Yeah, it would be a lighter weight journal, and I could put some of, where's that paper? Beautiful papers like this in here. Wouldn't that be nice? And a whole bunch of those in there. A whole bunch. And then you could just fold it in half, and then you could actually, if it's not too thick and your machine is compliant, you can just sew down the middle. So that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? And then you have instantly a little journal. Wouldn't that be cute? And even if these pick out a bit, isn't that cute? I mean, you've elevated your cute factor just by adding the sewing. Yeah, I'm encouraging you guys, those who are on the fence, and I know because I was on the fence for so long, to consider these things about sewing that may add some fun. And really that's what it's about. It's about adding fun. I don't want to, say everybody should sew. No, not at all. I mean, it's all about the fun factor. If you're enjoying it and it brings you joy, and you want to stretch your skill set, or you want to challenge yourself, or you want to bring a new element into your junk journals, and you've always been a little timid or a little bit shy about the sewing, maybe this is your time. Maybe this holiday season is when you're going to say, this is my time, and I'm not going to be afraid, and it's okay if people see that my sewing is not perfect, and I just want to enjoy the journey. I don't even have to decide if this thing I'm going to sew is going to be given to anybody. I'm just going to practice. I'm just going to practice and play until I feel confident enough to say, hey, would you like a pretty journal card that I made. And oh yes, I did sew it. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I'm learning how to sew. And you can have that conversation, you know what I mean? And they'll be like, oh, I can give you all sorts of tips because I sew all the time. And you're like, really? And next thing you know, you've got a friend. So it can be like that. So I want you to have gobs of fun. And so a quick rundown. Number one, pretty stitch patterns. Who doesn't love a pretty stitch pattern? Then you can add to it just as a page trim on a journal page. Number one. Number two, secure without glue. Isn't that awesome? No glue, no expensive glue, no where's the bottle, sticky fingers, anything like that. Number three, no drying time. You're ready to go. You sew and you go, and you are done, and you are on to your next project. And number four, it adds a new element. This is something that I don't know. I think it's just a pretty thing to play with. So it's like adding stickles or rhinestones or broken jewelry or a spine dangle. If you add sewing, it's adding another element. And number five, I would say it does not require a lot of skill. If your heart is set on just learning how to sew or learning how to do a straight stitch or a zigzag stitch, I have full faith that you can waddle in there and get a very basic machine and learn how to do it with a couple YouTube videos on that specific model of machine, because that's going to save you so much time trying to figure the darn thing out, trust me. And it's always good, a bonus tip, to learn a new skill. Exercise that brain, have some fun, and make some pretty journal cards for your next junk journal or journal pages. So I hope you had fun here. Please like, subscribe, and share. My videos come out Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. My podcast, what's that? You want to say hello again? You haven't had your bath.
I know, but I would really like to, I have a few things to add. Yes, I do. Because,
Okay, all right, we're coming up. All right, what do you have to say?
if Mom learns how to sew, then maybe I can have some really cute clothes for Christmas.
Yes, that's a possibility. But you don't really want to look in the camera when you say that?
Okay, here I am. Mom, can you sew me some sweaters? I'm going to need some sweaters for the Florida winter, please.
All right, I'll give it my best try, son. I could knit them. I'm not a very good knitter either, but I love the fibers, and who cares, right? Okay, so I have podcasts, which are free to listen to. They come out Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they're all new audio material that are different from my videos. If you have Apple or Spotify, you can listen on there, but you don't need any of that fancy stuff. Just click on the drop-down description box below and click on the link, and you're magically transported to podcast land. And you can listen to these while you are grocery shopping or walking the dog or doing the laundry. And the topics are junk journals, paper craft, life of a crafter, and answering crafty questions. So I also have a free monthly emailed newsletter, and if you haven't signed up for that yet, please come on and sign up. Why? Because you get a free digital image emailed to you monthly, along with a checklist of supplies, a note from the bookmaker which explains what a junk journal is and how someone might use it. Very handy to tuck in the beginning of a junk journal that you create, especially if you're giving it to somebody who has no idea what a junk journal is. And I have it there in PDF and Word document format, and it's on every newsletter, and you can print it out and use it and change it and morph it and add your own words and change the shape and the font and do all the fun stuff, or just use it as is. And I have a Facebook group. Come and join the Facebook group. We're having a lot of fun doing weekly and monthly challenges over there. Also seeing what you guys make from these videos, as well as, you're welcome to lurk and just hang out and have fun. And it's very low pressure, and it's really all about creating. So it's easy to sign up. Just go over and answer I think there's 4 questions, and then you agree to the rules, and boom, you should be in. So come on over and join us. We're having fun. And I have an Etsy shop where you can find FUNDLES, which are collections of old papers. Many are antique or vintage, and some specialty papers have been added. About 100 pieces for you to play with, to make junk journals or whatever you would like to make with them. They're fascinating papers to look through. It's wonderful to peek back in time and look at these papers and hold these papers from just, very interesting things. You're going to find old tea cards and postcards and handwritten pages and junk ledger and just a whole world of stuff. And I've got a video on that if you want to check that out. Oh, I need to remember to mention this. I've started a new service. Okay, let me first tell you about my Digikits. I've got Digikits, which are vintage style Digikits, antique style Digikits, and I have about 110 or so unique kits. These are printable downloads, which you print on your home computer. Just print them out, and then they are basically classified into themes. So if you want to do, a Victorian journal or a nature journal or a blue themed journal or something like that, you're going to find lots of variety there. Birds, owls, butterflies, you name it. And so you can either purchase those and print them out on your own. The other option is you can, if you don't have a printer, you can go down to Office Depot or Kinko's or one of those places and ask them to print them out for you. Usually it involves having them on your phone, the files, or a memory stick or something like that, but call the store and they can tell you exactly what they need from you and they'll walk you through it. And then the third option is what I wanted to tell you about. It's a new option for you that I'm offering because I get asked this all the time and I really wondered, is there a way I can do this? And I'm thinking, yes, there's a way I can do this. So I'm kind of experimenting this fall with this option for you, but I'm going to do a print and mail service. And so there is a link on my Etsy shop for print and mail Digikits, and basically you're going to get 10 Digikits, which is going to be your choice of Digikits, and they're 5 pages each, so you're going to get 50 pages mailed to you. So that's the process. Just go in and check out the details, but it's pretty easy. You basically purchase the printed and mailed Digikit choice, and then you send me a list of the actual names of the Digikits you want, and then I print them out on my computer and I mail them to you. And what else is exciting going on around here? Oh, I have an Amazon shop. If you don't know about that, if you're looking for favorite tools and supplies, you can find them on in my Amazon shop. I've tried to put most of the things that I use in my videos on there so you can check them out. And you can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And I've started doing some stories on Instagram. So for those of you who are Instagrammers, boy, what a world. I was saying to my husband this morning, I feel like there's a little tiny hole in the lake, in the ice. Okay, and I'm looking down into the world of Instagram down there. It's like this enormous world. And I'm just learning about it right now. But I'm having a lot of fun learning about it. So you might see me putting some different things out there on Instagram and just playing with that. So I'm trying to wrap my head around that. And I'm sure I'm going to make a lot of mistakes as I go. But I'll learn as I go. And it's a lot of fun. And so feel free to come on over and check it out or comment or tell me what you think. And Sonny likes to show up a lot over there on Instagram. Yeah, he's a bit of a ham. What can I say? And all my links are found in the drop-down description box below each video. And I know sometimes that's a little hard to find if you're on your phone or tablet, but it is there somewhere. There's usually like a little arrow or some kind of drop-down thing you might be able to locate. And if you want to hear more from me, click the notification bell. And remember that fun can be simple, even sewing. It's not a must, but it's just an option. And I hope you have fun and have a great day, everybody. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.